since we've
I'm
moved
so glad my parents aren't here.
since we've moved on from Mothman to Bigfoot's pecs and boobs.
Listen. Sometimes you just gotta ask the right questions.
Ass.
These are the important questions the world has to know.
The world does, in fact, have to know.
I don't think the Loveland frogs had good asses. They're frogs. Frogs don't really have good asses.
What about the Jersey Devil?
Jersey Devil is an ass. Is literally
true.
part donkey. Is an ass.
Yeah. Oh God.
About the Chupacabra.
Chupacabra.
No.
It depends on the Chupacabra. Do you mean that the like Costa Rica Chupacabra, which is like a weird werewolf dog thing, or do you mean like the Mexican Chupacabra that's like a blue demon devil thing?
Mexican.
Nice ass.
See, I always think about the other one because drinking goat's blood and all that crap.
I mean, they both drink goat's blood.
Does one of them drink it sexier?
One of them looks like a blue devil, like demon thing. The other looks like a fucked up dog man. Hi, I'm Fish. I know too much about cryptids and their asses.
Which one's the one that looks like pants? I can't remember its name. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They're called striders, but it's like a, fuck. Hang on. This is gonna irritate the fuck out of me.
I know. God, I'm trying to remember its name.
Bob.
Pants cryptid. There we go.
Yeah, the Fresno Nightcrawler.
The Fresno Nightcrawler. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Big fan of the Fresno Nightcrawler.
It technically has a crotch.
It's mostly crotch, I'd argue.
Because it's just a...
You technically have a crotch.
What the fuck is that thing?
It's the Fresno Nightcrawler.
It's
Don't be mean to the
pants.
Fresno Nightcrawler.
It's just pants.
Listen, I'll be mean to the Fresno Nightcrawler as much as I goddamn please.
Flatwoods monster, no ass, no crotch.
That is true.
Firm stance.
Oh, God. Anyway, hi, everybody.
Why does that?
We live?
No.
We've been live
we've been
for
live.
a while.
Oh,
We've been live
okay.
since they
Yeah.
started shouting about the about the Jersey Devil and whether
Yeah.
it's an ass.
Why is it a pair of legs?
This is the Fresno fucking Nightcrawler, man.
Yeah.
Why are you not a pair of legs?
I mean, it's the most
I
non-threatening
have a pair of legs.
Yeah, but
I
you
mean-
are not entirely. It's the fucking Fresno Nightcrawler.
The Fresno
They're
Nightcrawlers
not
are
that-
fine. They're just there. They're not like a threatening thing. They're just pants. Yeah, they just kind of hang around.
Know who else isn't threatening?
Mothman?
Mothman.
I mean, he'll scream at you, and I think one of the things said that he like ate a dog or something. So as long as you don't
No.
have
I
dogs,
just
He's
found-
just a harbinger of disasters.
I just
He's
found.
my boyfriend. Fuck off.
I just
I didn't
found-
say.
look, I'm not saying he's a bad boyfriend. I'm just saying sometimes you got a hankering for a dog and you're just nomming on it, you know?
I just found Mothman petting the Fresno Nightcrawler.
Cute! Oh my god! I'm gonna cry.
So there you go.
This has been a mess already. God. Oh yeah, I'm seeing that now. Mothman petting the Fresno Nightcrawler. That is adorable. I might have to throw that up in Discord at some point on my Discord.
You're welcome.
We're playing a D&D, I guess, maybe. I don't know, honestly. After
We talked
this,
about cryptids for 3 hours.
Yeah. It's the cryptid show now.
We could play Monster of the Week and this be the main discussion that happens.
What cryptids have the best ass?
It's Mothman. Every
Yeah,
time it's Mothman.
I mean, it's the obvious answer.
Mhm.
That's a fucked up cat.
Are you sure it's not a Fresno Nightcrawler?
It has a tail. Fresno Nightcrawler don't have tail. I know cryptids.
It says Fresno Nightcrawler cat.
Oh, they've merged together. Ugh, man.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons. So when we last
Merges
left
your
off,
magic
a
together.
giant Mechagodzilla woke up. He has an actual name, but I mean, I gotta be honest, Traxos is Mechagodzilla. You look at him, he's totally Mechagodzilla. He's more Mechagodzilla, the last
He looks
Godzilla.
like Grimlock.
Grimlock, that's a good one. Like I hate to say it, but a lot of influence from the, like, Michael Bay Grimlock. Because he's more not the original Transformers Grimlock.
It's a damn shame, but he does look like the Michael Bay Grimlock.
I mean, I that's one of the things I don't mind. He makes a cool T-Rex monster.
Michael Bay, look,
that movie
Michael
wasn't
Bay,
great, but the cool T-Rex
stories
monster.
bad, designs top notch.
Agree. So yeah,
Explosions.
what was that?
I said explosions.
Explosions.
I also said explosion.
Oh, that's you like pasted out a little bit, so it was like confusing me. But yeah, so giant beastie is waking up, summoning an army of dragon monsters, and you're heading into Yavimaya, into the ruins of Krug, to contact your druid friends and all the armies that you've been trying to summon. Currently, Traxos was not active. It seems to be awake, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything at the moment. Now,
I think it's Dragon Ball Z powering up.
Maybe it's contemplating the meaning of life.
No, I don't think. I think it's me. I think the meaning of life for Traxos is death and destruction. Who knows?
I
I
mean,
want to fight it.
I'm working on bombs right now.
mm-hmm.
I want to fight it.
We will.
Why not now?
Because I need to build the bombs first.
Rude.
Do you not want this to be cool and full of explosions?
No, I want to fight.
There's no pleasing you.
Nope.
Nope. So you'll there's not really a great place to land a flying vessel at all.
It is a jungle,
Yeah, it's a jungle. So you can maybe find something that'll make do up in the mountainous region. Let me just roll a couple of d20s and see how this goes. Cool. It is effectively your very good new friend here, who I have to see her. Kesh. Kesh will.
Oh yeah, the girl in the box.
Yeah, she's going to pull a classic. What's a good comparison? I love tableau. Okay.
Watch from Firefly.
I cannot remember a good. I haven't watched Firefly in forever. I know the character, but I can't remember like what you're talking about. Crash. It's a Crash. For whatever reason, like the controlled Crash reminded me of like. I gotta be honest. I was thinking of like DuckTales Launchpad.
Oh,
I thought Crash Bandicoot.
about Anakin Skywalker.
I mean, you could go with an Anakin
Or
Skywalker.
Han Solo. Also, a lot of people in Star Wars.
In Star Wars, crashing is another a type of landing. That could just be the. Anyway, it's a very good landing. You certainly will be able to walk away from your landing you made. And the ship is mostly intact.
That's good.
It certainly is for anyone that is not hiding in a bag of holding, probably pretty scary. Honestly, because at high speeds, you came into, like, you know, a very small, flat area on a mountain, and then kind of, like, skimmed along a wall, and then managed to, like, kind of, like, scrape a little bit to, like, slow down, and kind of careen to a stop, like, before you're, like, falling off another cliff edge kind of thing, you know? It was very, very not pleasant.
I would like to state for the record, I'm not hiding in a bag of holding.
Uh-huh.
I'm doing delicate explosives work in a bag of holding.
Hey, can you stop shaking the bag?
Claud is the one who's hiding in the bag of holding.
No fair.
You want to hide in the bag of holding?
Stop
No,
breathing.
I have no fear.
Oh, no fear.
You could also just fly away from it.
It's true.
There's that.
Yes.
Aren't you
We
like?
also-
I forgot. Carrion isn't inside the Thopter. Carrion
No,
is
she's
holding
holding
onto a
onto it.
bar outside the Thopter.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the bag because we can't all fit in the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the bag because worst comes to worst, I can fly away.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Cole.
I mean, like, this dude, I don't know, let me just look at his age real fast. He's 62, he's accepted death at this point.
God, Cole is 62 years
Yeah,
old.
he's old. Old man.
You got the old man, then you got the fucking
You
dumbass.
got a granddad. Party
I mean,
granddad.
Claud is also a granddad.
Yep.
I'm also the oldest in the group at the moment.
I'm the
Yeah,
youngest.
but you're fucking like 300.
I'm over 300,
Technically,
yes.
Cash is the oldest.
Yes, she is. She's like 10,000 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm the oldest.
You have the most lived experience.
Uh-huh. That I would agree on from the various beings that are incorporated into his makeup.
Also, just in terms of timescale.
Mm-hmm.
Kaz is 17.
Yeah. Anyway,
You are baby.
No.
well, that went well. We landed.
Yeah, we're alive, that's good.
I have no point of reference, so I assume this went well.
Well,
We don't even know what's going on outside unless we're sticking our heads out.
I mean, I could just open the bag and shout.
Yes.
We're
lived.
okay!
We lived. Everything is fine. Nothing is on fire.
There's a little bit of
You're not on
fire.
fire?
Yeah, let me just put that out.
To be fair, I am often on fire, but I am flame retardant, so it's fine.
Well, that's good to know.
Did I come out of the bag?
If you want, I guess.
If you want,
I'm not gonna make you, I'm not your father.
Have you, Carrie,
you
have
sure?
you landed?
Claude, get out of the bag.
I don't think you have a choice now, Claude.
Turn into giant form in the bag. Got it.
No, if you do that,
Oh.
we all die. Everyone
We
here
all
dies.
Carrie probably wouldn't.
I wouldn't
Because you
die.
probably would be a rift into the blind eternities. Because it's a different kind of cosmology, honestly. And the only one that can survive, known to be able to survive in the blind eternities, is Carrie.
I was
Because of-
talking about the explosives.
oh, well, that probably would be bad, too. Anyway,
Yeah, it wouldn't tear a hole because it's just breaking the bag. Oh, no, it...
if you
Would
break
break
a
the
bag
bag.
of holding, it tears everything into the astral
Oh.
plane.
Hmm.
In this case, it would be the blind eternities, because there isn't really like astral plane in magic cosmology.
Now,
It's just
Claude's not technically alive.
The thing is, Claude isn't made to travel the blind eternities,
They
so
might survive?
yeah.
worth
Like,
an experiment. Let's break the bag. No.
honestly speaking, like, I'm pretty sure Kaz, the energies would tear apart your body in horrible ways.
Oh, of course.
Claude, maybe you'd survive. You are technically inorganic in the end. I actually think you can travel between dimensions because of that. Theoretically. But you might have to be in natural form and not mimicking organic.
Yeah.
Cole's dead. Cole and
Cole's
Kaz for sure dead.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
chance.
I'm
That's
gonna
right.
poke my head out of the bag. Have we landed?
Oh, yeah, you've landed.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if Carrie landed or not. She could have been still flying.
Harry
She's-
was on the side of the Thopter.
Yeah, she never left the side of the Thopter.
Well, I don't know if she let go. Especially if it was careening into a mountain. I think at that point you might let go.
It was careening
No, I'm no coward.
into-ish a mountain.
We
Fine.
survived.
Go
I'll
hard or
pop-
go home.
I'll pop out of the bag then.
Alright. You are
Where the
out.
heck are we?
Up on a mountain. The mountains that surround Yavimea, you are on one of those mountains. Successfully landed. Seemingly alive. You know, pat yourselves down. Don't notice anything, you know, broken or damaged too much.
We're as alive as we usually are.
Yeah.
Far down is the druid's town.
Well, you are probably a good... Oh... You're probably a couple miles away from it, honestly. Because it's like, this is like high in the mountains, where like the trees and stuff disappear, and where there was some relatively flat land, a little cliffy, but still relatively flat, and amongst the spires. It's probably a bit of a climb down. At least, maybe not like literal climb, but, you know, definitely traveling down the mountain. Probably some actual climbing. Certainly you're probably not moving the Thopter from this place very easily.
Well, Carrie could bring the driver back up here, or the driver could stay with the Thopter.
Up to what you folks want me to do. I mean, I don't know if anything's gonna show up here and take this.
Even if anything did, it's not like it could pilot it.
I mean, the only things that I think would check it out probably might be the elves
Squirrels.
in the area, or the
There are the elven barbarians that guard the borders of Yavimaya that might come in this area.
They may poke around at it.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, we need to get to the village and start organizing things. And I don't think Carrie can carry everyone.
No. I could
I mean,
try.
I could just go back and bag. But
I don't know if you've
still-
earned the right to come back in the bag.
Wait, what did you do?
I didn't do anything.
Every time you have to re-earn the right to go in the bag.
I'll throw an apple in for you. How's that?
I'm a carnivore. How many times do I have to talk about eating rats?
I
before
don't
you
have any
understand?
rats in my pocket. I'm sorry.
You're not coming in the bag.
Can
I
turn
need to do
into a
delicate
rat,
explosive
but-
work within the bag, and it's easier when I just, you know, don't have to worry about accidentally blowing other people up.
I'm not worried about it too much, and we need to get back to the village.
But we can just work on that.
And I'm assuming we couldn't land at the village. That's why we're up here.
She's gonna like put her arm off, and you will just see jungle. You know.
That's why I was saying. That's why we couldn't. That's why we're up here.
Yeah. Unless you knew of a place to land in that, I certainly didn't see one.
Is ship
So when
still...
did this all happen? Is this?
The one is a bit different, no?
I mean, the entire city is gone, and there's just jungle.
Probably well over 1,000 years ago. Because how long was she asleep?
5,000.
Yeah, actually, it's what, more probably close to like 3,000 or 4,000 years ago it happened.
Yes.
A long time.
Yeah, about 4,000 years.
Wow.
Is the ship okay still?
It
Does it need to be repaired at all?
looks like we took a little damage, but nothing major. I mean, it might make some difference if we get into like some tight fights. It shouldn't be too difficult if we're continuing with my plan, but I don't know what your plans are at this point in time for
What
fighting
is
that
our
thing.
plan?
Bold of you to assume we have one of those
Yeah,
things.
we're not the best at planning super far in advance because things tend to just... It's easier to react to things because...
Armies are going to distract it. I thought you guys were going to try to blow its mouth up, and possibly I and Carrie might try to get inside.
Not the first time.
It's true, Carrion has been swallowed before.
Well,
And
I
not
could slip into other cracks.
I'm working on modifying the explosives to be better. And once the explosives are better, then we'll be able to deploy them in a way that should more efficiently, ruin this thing's day, more or less. Hopefully permanently disable it. I'm thinking of using, in addition to its normal ordnance, some more electrical ordnance that might be able to mess with the inner machinations.
Even if we could just knock it out temporarily, then we could go inside and finish it from the inside.
It's true.
Well, that was part of my original plan, at least. Because honestly, its mouth is wide enough that my ship could easily get in there and do a little bit of maneuvering. Wait till it breath weapons, get inside, drop some bombs, disable the breath weapon, and, get out.
Like I said, I can try to work on disabling it from the inside if I can get dropped in. Or dropped on it.
You are comparable to a flea to it, and you realize that.
Yeah, I know that. That's why it would probably be easy to get. I could probably get inside it then.
You might be able to get inside it, sure. But I'm just saying, you alone...
The amount of effective damage you can do is limited.
Yeah, unless you know what you're doing. It's sort of like, just trying to get in there, it might not work.
I was going to say, I have something that could maybe spark some ideas once I'm in there.
Or, get this, we just drop a lot of bombs inside of it and hope for the best.
Do we have more than these two?
No.
Yeah, we just have the two.
We just have two.
Can't you make more bombs?
Not quickly.
And, he also has duster boxes.
Yes, but we were told specifically not to use the duster boxes.
They were specifically created to react with things like power stones to create secondary explosion effects. And this thing has basically got like a giant power stone source in it. The bombs you have are basically unstable and poor power stones that are meant to explode. The thing is, you don't have more power stones like that.
We only have one other power stone, and it's powering Alatar.
Yeah.
And I don't want to use
And even
that.
then, the one you're using for Alatar is a lot more refined. It might be harder to make it explode. These are basically like someone's poor attempts at creating, or like leftover attempts at creating power stones that are basically were housed in a manner to cause it to explode. They're unstable to begin with.
My only thought is, if I get inside, I could also go giant and just try to go ham on the inside as much as possible.
I will tell you, that you cannot stretch if you cannot stretch into the area, you cannot stretch into the area. You would have to find an area your giant could fit in.
Well, that I know.
Yes.
But I'm sure there's spaces inside this thing that I could probably fit in.
I don't know. Other than in its main reactor hall, where the breath weapon comes from. But I wouldn't be in there if it's still using it. That's why I was hoping to disable it. If it starts the attack, it's probably going to start using it. And the amount of energy that it generates is probably staggering.
Problematic, to say the least.
It's just fortunate it can't use it very often. That's why my plan. I don't know the exact amount of time in between breaths, though.
And that's why we hope to make it an infinite amount of time between breaths by just fully disabling it.
Didn't you also mention that there were repair bots or something on the inside that work on it?
It was assumed from the size of it and the nature of it that there were smaller golems that could work to repair inside of it. Their exact nature is unknown, honestly, they
I could
be.
try to focus on taking, if there are any things like that, taking those out so it can't repair itself.
They could also be. I have to remember, like, I have to say, transmogrifants in there. There's a possibility.
I'm just trying to figure out some way I can be useful. I'm not very useful on the outside.
I realize, I understand that. Like, I don't think I have enough to destroy this thing with my. I did it before. I don't know how much, Kaz, you can fix it up. But no,
Let me think. You said there is the long, like, there is a, like, chamber of fuel that comes to, like, ignite the breath weapon. Yes, going along the spine of the thing.
She's gonna, like, copy, like, draw into the dirt, like, a very simple diagram. That there is a main chamber that runs the length of a portion of its body, coming from its mouth, where that's the kind of main area where the charge happens. She's gonna basically stay like, the main power source, as far as we could tell, is probably deeper in the creature. But from here, there's a place where the exposed energy begins a charging mechanism. Effectively, it spins up the energy in a way, energizing the entire chamber, and then unleashing it as a long beam of energy. It is mostly electrical, and it's at least partially electrical in nature, the energy that it unleashes, but it's just known to be devastating. The thing is, I know that the only reason I knew about this is because I read up the report that Tanos had gotten, that was in the laboratory that we were in. That I knew a little bit about it because, of course, Tanos studied up on these weapons and stuff like this. But I know for a fact that Tanos and his master probably created maybe not quite as deadly weapons, but still deadly weapons too, that could have fought this thing back in the day. I mean, they were devastating an entire landscape. The land was pretty wrecked during that time period. Things weren't going well.
You mentioned electrical things, yes?
Well,
I'll gesture to my weird staff. This thing kind of gave me weird electrical powers. Maybe it could help. I don't really know what it is.
huh.
Do you want me to take a look at the staff to figure out more
sure,
about it?
if you want to, just give it back.
Yeah, just give me like 10 minutes.
Can I poke it with a stick?
You can't poke it with a stick. I'm gonna do an identify on Cole's staff. Give myself a break from ordnance work.
Yeah. Do I remember? Do we remember what we said about the staff? I'm forgetting.
Some form of artifact is all
Yes. God, I have to remember what we said about it.
Very long time ago.
Yes, that's the unfortunate thing. Let me just try to see what I said. If I get reminded. So you will certainly take a look at this, and I'm just trying to figure out which one would be here on the list. I will have to figure out what it does. What did I say about it? Oh my god, I'm so forgetful. What did I tell you?
It was months ago.
Yeah, and I don't know where I put my notes on that one is the problem. Off the top of my head. That's what I'm trying to find quickly, but like, it might be in like Discord chat, so I'll have to look it up. I will have to find out about that for you. But you can certainly take a look at the staff and figure out some things about it. As I just
We could just say it's something that Kaz is going to have to examine more closely later when he's not distracted.
Sure, we'll say that as I scroll through some discussions here as we continue to talk. Maybe I can remember something.
Well, it's powerful and it's weird, and I'm not going to lie, very intrigued. I'm usually intrigued by weird artifacts. If I didn't have to create these massive, powerful explosives that could disable the breath weapon of an ancient mechanical horror, I would spend more time trying to figure out exactly what it does. But I have some notes that I will then come to later.
Oh, that works.
I had an idea. I'm remembering things that Kaz has in his inventory.
Did we bring any of the guns?
You know, it's funny you mentioned that.
I'm not allowed to have one.
No, but Kaz has, if I remember, figured out how to make the juice for the guns. So that we can keep reloading the lightning gun. Is that right?
Can I have my lightning gun,
Yes.
Kaz?
Is that a yes? Because if I can use that as an ignition / fuel source in this explosive device, well, I'd add a little more oomph to it.
They will have some oomph, but not nearly the oomph of the material you're talking about. It's not going to add a whole lot of oomph extra.
I'm just hoping it adds a disabling style of oomph to it, you know? Something to help fuck with Traxos.
Mm-hmm. Tracksuit.
I also do have electric spear guns, but that doesn't seem helpful right now.
Might be useful on the inside.
Now, I also, if I remember, the candelabra can be used to disable artifacts. Is that right?
Yes, the candelabra disables energy. But the candelabra, unfortunately, requires a lot of energy to do it. It's sort of like, if you can power it with enough energy, it will dampen a respondent amount of energy in an area. It has its advantages, but it also is very hard to use.
If I were to, like, jam it right in the heart of the big fucker, I'd need a lot of energy to make it shut it down, right?
Yes, that thing probably channels a lot of energy into it. You would need a very powerful energy source to use it like that. It doesn't mean you couldn't, but you'd have to figure out an energy source that would be effective.
These bombs are broken power stones, huh?
I'd say yes. Basically, they're probably lesser versions of Power Stones, because you have to remember,
Yeah.
the Power Stones they were creating during the Brothers' War were basically replicas of Thranian Power Stones.
And those were like fucking nuclear reactors.
Yeah, and so they had varying degrees of success with those copying. Of course, by the time you're getting late into the war, there's mostly successful. You know, they've kind of gotten down their techniques for creating their copies. But you still might have some leftover chuff or failed ones that still come up because it isn't a perfect process, and this seems to be a use for them.
So I couldn't, like, repair it to make a functioning power stone as the power source for the candelabra to fuck with Traxos. If I had more time.
If you had enough time, maybe, but the thing is, you'd also have to have some, like, ways of refining it. a little bit too.
Yeah.
Which might require an actual, some kind of furnace or something. Not furnace per se, but some kind of specialty device. Yeah, some kind of specialty device that would work along with it in order to refine it and eke out the impurities. And then also, I have to say, as good of an artificer you are, you don't necessarily, you don't really have that experience with power stones to know necessarily how to do that.
Oh, this is just ifs, and ifs. If I had more time, if I knew what to do, if I had the resources, if. Look, these bombs are very good because they're very crude. They're very, like, effectively it's if you took a very powerful artifact and then broke it and made it unstable. That's what I'm dealing with these explosives.
You got dirty bombs.
Yeah, in fact, more or less. I'm trying to make them cleaner, but still bombs is the problem I'm running into. It's not an easy fix. If I knew where to plant the bomb, I could probably disable the breath weapon, I have to imagine. It's finding out where to throw it, where to set it off.
Oh, I thought you guys were just launching it down its throat.
And hoping for the best.
I didn't have a great way of launching it. I was going to fly down its throat to launch it. Basically.
How heavy is it?
They're probably each at least 100 pounds, I'd say.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, that's right. I can't do catapult.
Yeah.
You
They
could
were
carry one.
heavy.
If this were 3-5, I could do trebuchet, but this isn't 3-5, and I don't have trebuchet.
Wait, what's carry weight rules? I forget.
5 times strength? Is that right?
That's not right. 5 times strength? Oh, wait. 5 times strength, not strength modifier, and I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
What's 5 times 20?
100.
So I could carry 1.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to detail out what this item does, because I never quite did. But I will tell you, it has a rudimentary...
15 times strength.
It seems the staff itself seems to have some form of low rudimentary intelligence that is hostile to you when you touch it, Kaz.
Oh. Stick doesn't like me.
It does not. But effectively, it seems to be something that is a combination of a Staff of the Magi and a Staff of Thunder and Lightning.
So it would be 300.
Your carry rate is 300 carry.
You could carry both bombs.
You could carry both bombs and fly in yourself with them. But the idea was the very fast vessel would fly in, drop them off with their basically rudimentary timers, fly out, allow them to explode, and not have to worry about being in there.
I think, Carrie, if you can help...
Useful.
I know.
I want you to drop me off onto the creature.
I could do that. That'd be useful.
Now,
I just want to fly into another creature's mouth.
I do have ballista.
What does Ballista do?
No, ballista, as in like the siege weapon.
Ah,
On the boat.
yes.
And mangonels. Which are like trebuchets. These could be used to launch the bombs, but without any degree of accuracy. We need...
I still think the best method is flying in, dropping them, and trying to fly out.
Yeah, but it's how to accurately drop them out of the ship that's the problem.
Yeah, that's true. It was more I was going to kind of estimate a location to drop them in, kind of just a little guessing, a little estimation from the information I read. Honestly, because I've never actually been in there, and I don't think necessarily anybody has. It's just that I think some people have made observations and managed to survive the effects by chance of the breath.
I don't want to, but I could probably get a really, really accurate, good shot by putting the monocle back on and just tracing the arc of energy.
Use the force, Luke. Use the force.
The problem is that the monocle causes me physical pain.
Get better, scrub.
Okay. Not all of us can just get really, really mad and take pain. That said, I'm willing to do it. I think it would be exciting.
Why am I picturing, you trying to blow up the Death Star?
That's effectively what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to blow something up.
Here's the other thing. While we're doing this, we're not only going to have to deal with Traxos, but also all the other little ones. And for that, I think Claud, Carrion, and Cole, you might be able to help with that. At least hold off the smaller ones.
I can fight.
While Cash and I fuck up the big one.
The smaller ones still fly, don't they?
No, none of them fly.
Oh.
None of them fly.
No.
They're more like big dinosaurs than big dragons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could each head up one of the battalions.
There are armies that you are using to attack them, though.
Yeah.
Or,
Each.
get this, I take one on by myself.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I think you'd have more fun if you did it with a dragon.
How many of these other ones are there?
I will
don't know.
accept dragon help.
Unfortunately, you do not know how many active dragon engines were left. You know that you could tell that basically Traxos was summoning more of them. Effectively a call that was waking up a lot of ones that were probably its own energy was energizing.
We saw what, at least 5?
Half a dozen.
Yeah, like 5.
Okay,
maybe
so
6.
6.
Yeah, and certainly there could be more. You don't know. That was just one area.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty large radius too.
And they're big.
They are big. They are equivalent in general D&D terms. They are huge sized, each.
So I could wrestle one.
Yes, if you were in your giant form, you could attempt to wrestle with one of them, but you would be about the same size.
Yes. Well, that's why I'm saying I could wrestle one.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm trying to do it in Claud form, that would not go well.
So, we have the 3 of you, along with our armies, attempt to take out the smaller ones and distract the big one, while Kesh and I fly in. Now, the other thing is, Claude is right in that taking it down from the inside, not a bad idea. It's getting inside. That's the hard part.
I can get inside.
You can get inside. I think. Here's what I think. Now, can't guarantee this is a good plan, but here's what I think. We only need one bomb, probably, to disable the breath weapon. We use the other bomb. Put it right next to its fucking heart.
That's a little harder to get a 100-pound bomb into that area.
In the bag.
True.
In the bag.
I mean, I could take the bag with me.
It's true.
I can incorporate it inside myself as I squeeze.
No, you can't. Remember, you can change yourself and all your gear, but you cannot change things that are external from you. It would still be the bag.
Now, it's also possible that there are... Here's the thing. Something built this, right? Someone built this. It didn't build itself.
Yes.
Something of this size, while it was being built, might have had some maintenance passages inside so that people could make repairs and functionalities as it was being built.
There could
might
be ports on the outside, yes.
Ports on the outside, and areas for something other than goop to walk around in.
Well, I'm assuming on the inside, if there's possibilities of golems that repair it, they would need passages.
Yes.
That's why I was saying I could get inside, and I probably could move around.
And what I'm saying is you don't have to be the only one inside. It's also possible that all of us could go inside. Fight our way through to the middle, plant the bomb, and then set it off.
The only thing I would be worried about is
Dying in an explosion.
more people we send inside, the more people we have to also get out. If we do a smaller team on the inside, I mean, if you want just the bomb planted, I could try to sneak around in there and ave anything that might be, you know, there to repair it, and just try to get to where we need to get in, plant it, and I could probably get out quicker than anyone.
I also have the wand of Tawnos, right? Which is specifically like meant to allow things to pass by unseen.
Mm-hmm. But it basically, what's a good way of saying this? It makes it very difficult for things of very low power to be noticed. So creatures that have very high energy, and you certainly would understand by the nature of all of your experiences, all of you tend to radiate very large amounts of energy in various ways. That would be very difficult to hide, naturally. Specifically. It makes it that kind of dampening makes it very difficult to detect. Kind of, it's like it acts as like a pseudo invisibility, but the way that it hides it, it's less that you're actually invisible and more that like it's the think of like you're just not noticed.
Yeah.
It kind of like masks you from perception almost.
It's an NMP field from the Hitchhiker's Guide, a not my problem field.
I was also going to say it was one of the obfuscate powers from Vampire, which is just basically you can like walk around and be part of the crowd and no one notices you.
Yeah.
Like you don't stand out at all. You blend in, and you just like unless you do something to be noticed. But the thing is that
where my point is, I'm actually, skilled in sneaking around.
It's true. Kaz is just very nervous about giving up his bag to people.
I can understand that, but at the same time, you have had to remake it before. If it blows up with me...
I don't enjoy remaking it.
We can drop off any materials at the ship.
Does it?
And just have the bomb in it, and that's it.
Does it have a brain?
We think it has a rudimentary intelligence.
Yeah, as far as we know, it's smart. Not very smart, but much smarter than the Dragon Engines.
Skull, though, either.
Well, It is based off a dragon.
Right,
So
but they also, if I were to invent something like that, I would not put its. I would put its parts that are the most likely to end it or stop it from being able to function in its most core spot, in its most protected spots.
I'll tell you, Kaz, certainly you'll know, artifact type creatures similar to these, and especially if you like even think about like Claud, how his nature is, they don't really have like what could be described as their intelligence, if they have it, ingrained in one location. Normally it's ingrained in their energy patterns. Basically, the very energy that is giving them life contains their intelligence. If that energy,
so like I can't just shoot it in the head and kill it.
Yeah, if you blew up its head, it might not necessarily kill it. It might just piss it off more. Might be more or less dangerous because maybe
it would
it
definitely
has...
disable the breath weapon.
We would need to get the bomb into next to one of its major power batteries.
And even then, like...
And hope it does enough damage that it at least
there is a magical nature to every golems and the like, especially ones that have intelligence. So even if you would remove all their power, it doesn't destroy them completely. So Traxos probably has the exact same personality it had before it went to sleep. It just went into kind of like a stasis when it lost all of its power.
Right.
So,
But I'm saying if we can take it down, even temporarily, by blowing one of its power cores up, it gives us time to find a way to finish it off.
Possibly draining the energy into like... Honestly, it's possible. One thing I was considering is siphoning the energy into the candelabra rather than using the candelabra to straight up turn it off. Use it to power the candelabra instead.
Possible, if you had enough time.
If I had enough time.
Yeah.
That's the problem with all
you'd
of
have
these.
you'd have to be in there
it,
and have enough time. You could maybe do that, yes.
Yeah, we probably need to incapacitate it, at least temporarily, to buy you the time to do that.
Claud is skilled with infiltration.
13 stealth.
Could potentially...
The war is over, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there is another option. I don't know how well it would work.
Tell it.
Well, you're pretty good with Artifice, right?
Pretty good with Artifice. Yes.
It is
yes.
smart. You could try convincing it that the war is over.
Okay.
I don't know.
Here's the thing. Yes. I am smart. As is the thing. I'm not good at persuading anything of anything.
So very true.
I'm not a persuasive in... Look, I've been on trial twice. The only reason I was never convicted of anything is because I'm not guilty. That's it. Not because I convinced people I wasn't guilty. I just factually was not guilty.
Not to mention, just because the war is over, it was built to destroy things. It
That's the thing
still
is...
want to just destroy.
That said, I'm not opposed to the idea of just trying to talk to it.
But that's correct. We don't know how it's going to react. So that's why, like... The thing is, like... I worry that it's going to be difficult to do any of these plans. Like, I had a crazy plan to begin with, and you're basically... you're basically piggybacking off of my crazy plan.
And making crazier plans.
Yeah.
That's how we do things. Remind me to tell you of the time we went through an orc village. Through.
Ow! I just start doubling up in pain.
Through.
That really hurt.
I could try to consult a friend or so, but I'd have 25 words to do it, and I think I'd need a little more to explain that.
Did we ever find out if we actually had the thing to talk to Nim?
I did not say whatsoever. I actually forgot to consult Lee about that. I mean, honestly, we could say you do if you really want to. I mean, there's a very good chance that
I mean, Nim may have a suggestion.
that's true.
And
He's the most powerful / oldest person we know.
well, except for all those people who are crashing at their house.
Well, that were. They're no longer there.
I mean, honestly, he's probably more powerful than most of them.
And he's definitely still older than all of them.
Probably comparable because he is technically an ancient planeswalker, as he's more comparable to something like Sorin Markov. But Sorin is of a race that's very powerful, so has an outright advantage, i.e., vampire.
Okay, well,
we
we should
want-
at least...
do we
Nim
want
would at least want
call
to
a
be
friend?
appraised.
Yeah, do we want to call a friend?
At least I think he would appreciate being appraised of the situation.
I agree. I think, this is something that, Nim at the very least should know about in case we fail.
Yeah, let's tell Nim.
Okay. So you're going to use the stone to attempt to contact Nim.
Yeah.
So the stone does work a little bit like a sending stone, though it isn't limited in its uses, is the thing, particularly. But once you send a message, you cannot use it again until the message has been responded to, effectively.
Mm-hmm.
So it does have a limitation, but it's really only meant to contact someone else that has a reciprocal stone type.
Right.
Yeah.
So there are more than 2 of these in existence, probably, but you have to know who you're talking to, kind of thing. You know about Nim having one. What message are you sending Nim? You have 25 words each time you send a message.
Yo, Nim. About to fight Traxos, Scourge of Krug. Hang on. Yo, Nim. About is one word, right?
Yes.
We could also get rid of Yo.
No. About to fight Traxos, Scourge of Krug.
Need advice?
Need advice. Otherwise, we'll just try explosives. Untold devastation imminent. Please help.
Nim, you know we can't be trusted with shit like this.
I'm hoping the untold devastation imminent will portray that particular part of this. That was only 20 words.
The response you get is, how long do you have?
No idea. It is awake, and we think gathering forces or energy.
I can send help now, but greater help will take a little time.
Any help or advice is appreciated. We also have assembled the forces of Yavamea.
What's your current plan?
Explosive devices to disable the breath weapon, and then more explosive devices inside. Or talk to it. Nim knows we're not good at plans.
I know, but it
Yeah.
just sounds funny. It's like, plan A, blow it up. A lot. Plan B, sit down and have a cuppa.
Kappa should probably be plan A.
No, but with us, it's the reverse.
Yeah. Man,
An
Cole, I
ancient-
hope you knew what you were getting into signing up with our bullshit.
An ancient power like this is...
Nobody knows
an
what they're getting
ancient
into
power
when they're
like
signing
this
up for our
is
bullshit.
quite dangerous. You have to find out what it may have been exposed to.
Fuck. Give me a minute. Kaz is gonna put on the goddamn monocle, because that's the best way I could think of to take a look at the big bastard and find out what might be fucking with it.
You have to get closer for that. And have some time observing it.
Oh.
Honestly, the easiest way might be carry.
Yeah.
I'm
Carry
here.
can carry you.
She is smaller than the Thopter by far, and less of a target. So you might be
Yeah.
okay with the defenses made to fight up against, Thopter attacks.
Okay. Okay. Carrion,
Me?
I'm gonna put on this monocle. You're going to fly me over to it so that I can get a real good look at it.
Exciting.
Carrie has something she could use that I think she hasn't used in a while.
Oh,
What do
fuck, you
what
can
do I
turn
have?
invisible.
I can in fact turn invisible. I've used that once.
Just
Also, what I
sneak
was
into a bookstore.
What I was going to say is, if we're going over that way anyway, and you need to be close to look at it, you could drop me off on it, and I could try to explore a little bit around on it to see if there are access panels.
Well, I'd probably be able to see that anyway, and also, it's incredibly dangerous to just drop something on. Now, you are the size of a flea compared to it. But if we do, we'll have no way of knowing if you just fucking die in there.
I'm not saying I'll go inside. I can scope out the outer skin and see if I see anything. So
And then
if that way, if we do end up needing to infiltrate it, we know if more than one person can easily get in. If there's an entrance that we could use that people can get in, or if I just have to squeeze in at some point.
My only worry with that is, like, you find out that information, and then how do we get that information from you?
Pick me back up.
That's not gonna be easy.
You're not sure how it would sense. Invisibility would probably help on any kind of visual-based sense, but if it has senses that could detect you if you get close, it might be dangerous to get close, or hard to, without being attacked. So that would be 2 runs you'd have to make quickly in there. Now, granted, the invisibility might work, but you cannot guarantee that it has non-visual-based senses, especially because it is, like, an artifact. Maybe it has ways of sensing power of things, basically to target other artifacts and stuff like that. Or
Yeah. You are an artifact creature.
you are indeed an artifact creature. But you're a colored artifact, so you're special.
Yeah, you're like a fucking Gear Hulk.
I was just trying to think of,
No,
ways of getting more information.
you are right. That would be good. It's just getting you back. I don't want to lose Claude like that. Because
Well,
we could also just lose
did we
sight of you
ever-
pretty easily.
did we ever figure out if my half-dragon form can actually fly?
It has wings, I think we said. Because I think half dragons in 5e are supposed to all have wings, rather than like in older editions where it was a maybe.
I could fly in with you guys and then change and fly down and back.
I mean, if you think you could get there and back on your own, I mean, we could get you there and then get back and meet up with us afterwards. Also, we can give it a shot.
Also, is it over the water right now?
Yes, it is. It is standing in water.
Okay. The other thing is,
You could
if
just
I
swim.
have to, I can always get down and try to swim back.
I mean, like, part of it is probably definitely in the water right now anyway, because it's like probably 50 feet deep of water at this point in time.
So, yeah. I have multiple ways then to get up to it myself.
You can also, if you can't get to shore, get to the Hellkite.
Right.
We can't forget we just have a boat in the water.
Granted, it's not necessarily anywhere nearby, but definitely somewhere that could be gotten to if need be.
While we're doing that, Cole, I think you and Kesh should probably meet up with our forces and make sure they're ready. They're, like, preparing. You have connections with the druids, obviously, to help with that.
Oh, yeah, I could do that.
That sounds fine. Be nice to meet more people.
Cool, great. I'm about to cause myself a lot of pain.
Have fun with that.
I'm gonna put the monocle on. It's, what kind of save is it? Con?
Con save followed by a, I believe it was
Wisdom save?
Wisdom save, yeah.
Fuck me. I love our dumb plans.
Hey. I mean,
Fuck!
now, the good news is that you're able to maintain yourself. The hard news is that, like, it embeds itself quite well this time. So it'd probably be very difficult to remove, unfortunately. And you will take, let me just roll some dice here. Not a lot of damage, but a bit of damage. So just do that there. 9 damage. As like there will be like blood welling up all around your eyes. It's like really embedded in there now. You can almost see, like, if someone was looking at it, it looks like there's almost these like small, like almost like folds in the metal that are like embedding into your flesh.
And I fucking put it on the metal eye, and it's like welding itself onto my fucking metal eye.
Yeah, it's unpleasant.
Before we actually start examining, do we want to take our first...
That's what I was going to say.
Yay!
Yes, you were perfect timing. I was going to say, like, before we actually have it, because there's going to be 2 scenes right now that we're going to have then. Well, maybe 3, as Claud will peel off, and we'll see what's going on. Anyway, so snack, drink, bathroom break, go ahead and have those, and we'll be back in a little bit. I'll just do...
Yeah.
So...
I just didn't hear you say yes, and I'm like, we should double check that.
We return! I was very excited about returning, so, you know, you could see my excitement on my face. Well, that's actually more terror. Oh, wait, yeah. I think that's like my one dab a year that I didn't do it all this year, and like you had me copy you and do it too. So there you go. I hadn't done one, so...
You got one in before the deadline.
Yeah. I'm hip with them kids.
hip with them kids. I think I'm technically them kids.
Yep.
Well, my stepson would be them kids. He's still 19.
I'm hip with them. Them kids.
I don't know about that one.
Oh, show.
For sure. What was I gonna say? Hey, so, why don't we do, the triples first, and then we'll move on to Cole, and, of course, Kesh, heading to meet with the commanders of the army and deal with that stuff that's going on. So, the plan is what with your group? Carrie's obviously carrying Kaz in some fashion.
In the bag.
In the bag. Okay.
Me.
And you, are you in the bag?
I mean, I can be in the bag if you want me in the bag.
Fine, you can be in the bag. I'll just push you out when we get over the thing.
I'll goop.
It's target practice.
This is bag of holding. Yeah.
I'll just goop and just like slime down on him. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So you can get close to Traxos. Traxos is still not moving.
Well, I guess I will jump out a bag of holding and turn to dragon form and try to glide down.
Okay. Let me do some stuff first. Slash roll. What's your AC?
My AC is 17.
Okay. How many would you have to hit before you get close to that at least? You're not a big target. That's an advantage on you. We'll say 6 of these. Alright. Let's see what we...
Skeet shooting is what we're...
What was your AC?
17.
17. Only 2 hits. That's the good news.
Ouch.
So...
Bad news is that we're
bolts
gonna
of electricity are going to come out and strike into you. They're going to be fired, like, off from, like... It looks as though, like, this thing has all these kind of, like, spines on it. These spines will basically arch out like electrical bolts that seem to be targeting you as you're getting closer.
be lovely.
2 will strike into you, dealing you a combined total of 30 damage.
Fine.
What's the half my health?
Mm-hmm.
I'd abort mission if I were you. You don't have to listen to me. I'm in a bag.
I'm already down there.
Okay.
Screw it.
Then give me a Constitution save, please.
Yay, that's such a great one.
I mean, I think you have some bonuses right
Save.
now, technically.
Unless I have something from being half dragon that I don't know, I get a +1.
Didn't you con change a little bit?
Only when I'm in
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
giant form.
Okay.
You never gave me anything for my half dragon form, so I have no idea if I have any bonuses.
Oh, I thought I wrote that down
If
somewhere.
you did, you never gave it to me.
I might not have. That could have definitely happened.
I only have my giant form stats.
Yes, which I have most of these things down somewhere in here. I did write
You
some
only
stuff
gave me
down.
giant form. You never told me any of my other ones.
I thought I wrote some things down, but I might have lost where I got that, because I am silly like that. There's Claud. Where did I write that? Somewhere in this pile, or did I have it somewhere else? Oh, no, that was some of this pile. Okay. What's your normal constitution?
My normal constitution is 12.
Hey, it went up to 14 in this form. I'm sorry, no, that's a different one. Frick. That's half. That's half dragon.
It actually went down.
No.
That would suck.
I might have this paper somewhere around here, but I'm trying to like find it. It's like I've got one of the pages.
I
but
don't
not
think
the
it's gonna succeed on this.
Yeah, you rolled a 10.
Up 1, it's a 10.
You rolled a 10. So, there seems to be some form of field of energy around it then too that you kind of pierce through. The field of energy will do you only a bit of damage in comparison to the last bit of damage. 14 more.
Oh.
But you will also... Give me a second here.
Down to 25.
Book. Okay. You will hit into the thing, and you will be incapacitated for a few minutes. Let's roll and find out how many. So you basically are just stuck there not moving for a while as it kind of stuns you, the energy. The good news is once you pass that like energy field, you are no longer being affected by it. You just you're just sitting there for 4 minutes, not feeling very good. Anyway, we're gonna switch back to Cass and Carrie for a minute before we figure out what's going on with Claude. You're looking at this thing.
Unfortunately, yes, I am.
Yeah.
Did I watch all that?
Definitely. Yeah, it seems as though like the spines seem to be able to generate like blasts of electricity that seem to be defensive. They obviously were targeting Claude when he was getting close, and you can tell that you couldn't get the exact range, but you're assuming at least within 50 feet of the outside of this creature, you would be attacked by those.
Okay, don't get too close here.
Farther out, you might be okay, but like getting close definitely be difficult. And certainly it seems as though like Claude impacted into some kind of like reactive energy field around it. It's not necessarily something like it's like I'd say like best comparable, it's like a repulsion field. Not really a force field, but it's meant to try to like, keep things away from the surface of this creature.
But if you hit with enough force, you just right through it.
Yeah.
Hey, Kaz, you want to go in the bag and I just run face first into it?
No,
Why not?
because it might break the bag. I mean, also you'd get hurt, but like, I don't think you cared as much about that part.
No.
What am I seeing? What's affecting this thing? Is there any negative force acting upon it?
Roll your Tinker's Tools check and analyze it. Actually, no. Instead, roll me an Arcana with advantage at this point in time, I think. Your Tinker's Tools would be for a different reason. This, you're analyzing the energy patterns of it. All right.
27.
So, you're going to take some time kind of studying the energy patterns of it. It still seems to be drawing in a large amount of mana from this nearby area, certainly. You can see the flows of mana coming into it that seems to be naturally drawing it in. Not just from, like... It seems to be, all directions, the energy flow kind of being drawn into it generally. Not enough to disrupt the natural mana flow, but certainly, like, if you were close enough to it, you might find that magical energy might be harder to manifest because it is drawing a lot of energy in right now. That's usually a natural part of things. Like, power stones themselves store amount of energy, so it's not that's like seems like a kind of that's a very natural thing, especially if it's drawing in a lot of power. It's not drawing in power the same way it was when you first saw it waking up. This seems to be just sort of like almost like a natural charging process, you would say. Otherwise, there seems to be strange disruptions in its energy flow. That's for sure. Something is going on in it. You're not quite sure what it is, but there's almost like... It's like there's like a... It seems as though there's a large portion of it that the energy flows are disrupted in, sort of towards its core. Something is causing it to, like, not flow smoothly. And certainly that... You're not sure if it's just naturally there at this point in time. Maybe it's old damage, but you don't know if it's growing or shrinking or anything. Like, maybe it's repairing that. Maybe that's spreading. You're not sure on that end. You're also not sure what's causing that disruption, honestly. It does seem to have a mana signature, though, the energy pattern. It's black.
It's black?
Yeah.
That's no good.
Currently, it's been drawing in a lot of green, red, and blue mana, which is very prevalent in this area.
Yeah.
Black mana doesn't tend to be in this area. It's not impossible for it to be in this area, though.
No, but if I had to guess, there's some outside force of black mana that's fucking with it. I'm not able to see the source of this black mana nearby.
Unfortunately, no. You can just see that it's in there. Whatever mana that's going into it is overpowering your senses of it, basically. It's very hard to discern between them. Like, it's very easy to be like, hey, there's flows of green mana and red mana coming in from the land. There's blue mana coming in from the water, kind of thing. You know, like that's easy to tell because there's a lot of it. The subtle differences, like trying to see like little bits of like white or black mana, would be a lot harder because you're getting blotted out by this large amount of mana. Probably on something that was a lot smaller, it might be easy, but this thing is so massive that makes it very difficult to tell the difference. Certainly, like, if it is getting that influx from something nearby, it's not a huge source. But the disruption seems to be associated with that black mana.
Can I tell how it's affecting Traxos?
Give me a Tinker's Tool check.
That's where the Tinker Tool come in. Also with advantage?
No, not this one. You will not have advantage on, because this is an analysis of the information you're getting an advantage to get.
Fuck!
You kind of take a look at it, but unfortunately it's like... It's very difficult to see how this disruption is. Disruption doesn't seem to be having anything on its automatic defenses. And honestly, disruption, as you look at it, isn't stopping any of its normal power flows and stuff like that. It just seems to be like little hiccups, maybe? Almost as you think like there's a problem, like there's a slight problem in a circulatory system almost, you know? That might cause like an unusual heartbeat or something like that, you know? Nothing that will
like
be...
a virus.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take out the Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne?
Yeah. I'm gonna contact Nim,
No, it's actually Tom the Rock Johnson.
and I'm going to say, absorbing red, green, blue mana as normal. Outside force of black mana having unknown effect on Traxos.
Do you think it's possible there is less ancient wreckage nearby that could have interfered with this awakening?
Do I see anything?
No. At least not through the monocle. Nothing that's screaming a massive amount of power.
Possible, but I can't tell. I can't see where this black mana is coming from or how it's affecting Traxos.
This also could be something natural for it.
It could be, but it's having an irregular impact on the machine.
This could be something from towards the end of the war.
Nerves say it might be Phyrexian.
The problem is, Mishra was under that influence. So it could be old, could be new, could be something else.
Could be borrowed, could be blue.
You're gonna say shit like that. Don't know how this impacts the current plan. Disabling breath weapon with explosives still seems viable.
If it is ancient, we probably don't have to worry. Wouldn't have oil or similar corruptives. Nothing as advanced. If it's new, well...
Should also mention, likely not relevant, Phyrexian Angel was on Yavimaya.
disconcerting. Do you think they're related?
Sure hope not. But probably, with our luck.
I've sent word to parties that might be able to assist, and help is coming, but it will arrive in a few days.
I don't know if we have a few hours.
Do what you can.
Traxos has formed a mana sink and is drawing in a lot of energy. I don't know what the threshold is. I don't, right? I can't tell if there's like a threshold that it's approaching.
You rolled pretty well. I'm going to tell you that, like, it probably uses up an amount of power, but to kind of get to a maximum stability, where the amount of energy it's taking in right now is probably more than it needs. What you would want to look for is that energy pattern to even out almost, you know, and then it wouldn't be so much of a mana sink anymore. Because it would still draw in a lot of natural magical energy from the atmosphere, mana energy. Just because of the nature of it. But it's probably not going to do that as much during a duress time. Its own power cells will have their nature of, converting the natural magical energies to the power that this thing needs, the power this thing can use. That's the nature of a power stone. It converts natural mana into relevant power, and holds an amount of it. Their limit of being charged? Honestly, with something this size, it depends on how big its power supply is. The rate it's going, it could, if it's a very small power supply, on the smaller side, could be a couple hours. On the other hand, if it has a much larger power supply than you thought, could be maybe a day at most. But you're also not sure how this disruption is affecting it. That could be interfering with this. It's probably not helping it, honestly. But how much it's actually harming it, that's unknown.
I should have used this monocle to look at some more Phyrexian shit so I could learn how their data patterns work. Do it later. I'm going to say alone, likely have a day at most. Maybe more with this disruption. Can't be sure.
I'll do what I can.
Carrie wants to hit it.
Yeet.
That seems ill-advised.
How rude.
Green.
Claude did hit it.
What was the result?
Pain.
Lightning-based energy that seemed to act as a main defense, compounded with some kind of repulsion field around the main body. Looked painful.
You can't hear me.
It might be being affected by the amount of the types of mana that it's drawing in power from. There are force field effects within blue. Lightning, red.
We just need to shut it down for a time. I can stop it from there.
I'll do what I can to assist. Contact me if it starts moving.
Alright, I'm not going to respond because it hasn't moved yet.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say,
Claw.
okay,
Yeah.
Carrion,
Me.
to satisfy your urges, I grabbed this rock before we left. If you like, you can try throwing it at it.
Yeah.
Remain invisible.
What's the fun in that?
It's a prank. You're pulling on a giant robot.
I'm gonna throw a rock.
Okay. Roll an attack roll.
Please don't. It might
Crit.
go off.
Crit on the robot.
Should I roll a dex or just a dex?
Yeah, Dex, you're just chucking a rock at it. Probably with disadvantage at this range, gotta be honest.
It's a 13 either way.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you, it ain't moving. You're not damaging it, but you're this ting!
Blink.
Like, it's that you hit it, that's for sure. But it doesn't do anything.
It satisfies a
Yeah.
little bit of the urge to hit.
Thank you for not going off.
Claude, you feel like you, hit a brick wall before you touch this thing.
Yes.
But you're
And
on
then
its
went through the
back.
brick wall.
That too, but you're certainly on this thing's back somewhere. It's currently not moving, but you can feel like throbs of energy going through this thing. Like you don't have to even have any kind of special senses. It's just this thing is throbbing with energy.
Sorry.
Energy.
That's what you said. Well, now that I can move again,
Yeah.
using magic healing wand,
Okay.
I think you actually have to roll that for me.
Oh, what was the dice and stuff, etc., etc.
Well, he has it, so.
Ah.
7.
Oh, yeah.
Yay, I'm up to 32 out of 69.
Ouch.
And how many charges does that have?
Ooh, I like hiccups.
Where did I write that down? 8. Hit me again. Okay, that's better. I'm at the meaning of life now. I'll sit that. I'll accept that for right this minute.
You feel slightly better. Less
Yes.
slightly nuked injured.
What do I see around me?
The thing is, like, it's massive. You feel like you're, like, on a landscape, almost. It's the massive metal back of this creature. There are these, like, massive, like, armored plates that seem to fill most of its back. They kind of, like, spread out over a large portion of its body. It has kind of like points in between the armor in various points. The thing it has like massive like points in time where like various like weird wirings almost kind of like go over it that are like these thick tubules that definitely are brimming with energy that kind of stretch over it. It has this kind of almost like outer skeletal structure, it almost looks like, where kind of like points of these like metal kind of go over top of it, and you can see like almost like an inner skeleton is in the inside then.
Do I see anything that I'll roll perception if you want. I want to see if I can find anything that looks like maybe hatcher or something.
Sure.
Let's see. Perception.
Mm-hmm.
Please. Real decent on this one. Not that great.
Nothing that screams hatch on this thing. Its outside structure is very different than a vessel. It certainly feels like it's like if comparing it to the other dragon engines, they seem like pitifully primitive in comparison. This thing feels like it has like almost like a strange, like organic design to its like outer structures here. Almost like it's got like this outer skeleton and veins on its outside, and then it got like an inner skeleton that seems to like that combination seems to create this incredibly thick armoring. You can tell that probably this outer skeleton kind of moves and flexes a lot more than the inner one. Certainly, the inner one is a lot more rigid, but the inner one is supposed to be probably more protective, honestly.
I'm assuming, does the outer one still feel metallic?
Yes. You don't know enough metallurgy to know a lot about it, though, too, is also the thing.
Is there any gaps in it?
Certainly the outer one. You can certainly get through that one. The inner one is almost like, I'd say, like, kind of more like a chainmail almost in the inside, you know? So it has a flex to it, but it's kind of like almost like layered scales on the inside, under the outer skeleton. The outer skeleton seems a lot more thicker, you know? It's like heavier metals, larger pieces that are almost kind of like hinged and moved together in sort of ways with this inner chain that's underneath it. Almost like covering a snake in a flexible metal, like the scales of like a snake, in a flexible metal exoskeleton, so that it could still bend like it could normally.
I'm gonna just carefully start walking around and looking to see if there's anything that looks like possible access points. I mean, this thing's pretty big. Hopefully, maybe I'm just in an area where there's not one.
It is massive. It is gigantic. Like, it's standing in probably like 50 to 100 feet of water and still has a few hundred standing outside. As I told you, it's probably at least 500 feet long from tip of its snout to tail.
Yeah.
I'm using its magic card as an example, where you can see stuff close to Traxos are trees, and they're very tiny in comparison to it.
I guess I'll look around its head and neck area.
Okay, we'll try to head up towards the neck area and the head.
Yeah.
You can actually see there does seem to be old damage to the outer exoskeleton. Now, granted, none of it's severe, but there's like dents, places where probably stuff impacted it. Certainly, this thing seems to have had old battle scars, and none of it seems to have necessarily recovered at this point in time. You're not even sure if it could recover this. You know that it has systems in place to repair it, but to the degree needed to repair this, or maybe these scars are just going to be here always.
The panels would probably have to be completely replaced.
That might be beyond what its abilities are, like, because these are like this is the outer like exoskeleton. Which
at this point, this might be something that its creator would have to repair.
Yeah, honestly, but the size of it makes it very difficult, and certainly they probably had something to do that at. In this case, it has been buried on the ocean floor for 5,000 years. You know, it is. You don't know how much it repaired itself from that damage too. There's a lot of questions about this thing. Give me another perception check.
Please roll better. I've been rolling like crap today. There we go.
You find a place that looks to be some damage from something that impacted it heavily. You might be able to squeeze in as your natural form, certainly in this spot. Moving these panels out of the way, they're still massive. There doesn't seem to be necessarily like an access hatch from the outside. From having combed it for a while, honestly, you're guessing that because there seems to be some kind of structure on the main area in the center where the breath weapon is, maybe that's actually where they would access it from. Honestly, it would just open its mouth and let friendly folks in, especially if it had like something like a docking mechanism for it. And then on the outside, they would just basically have something akin to like a dry dock where they could do major like construction or repairs. The place needed to repair this would probably be massive in of itself, a massive factory.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing is, like, looking at this, the scale of the Antiquity War is like just coming into focus for you. That this was probably something that was a massive war. That was more insane than anything you've ever imagined, you know? Like, the Phyrexian War was insane because it was a global war, you know? That's a different kind of thing.
Yeah. With the gap that's here, would I be able to go into one of my other small forms and be able to drag the bag in with me or no?
You might be able to fit as listed, but you do not know where this goes. This just seems to be kind of like a gap between the scale plates. Like from damage there, basically. It does seem to go into the internal structure, but how deep it goes in the internal structure and like what that means, you're not sure. This thing is certainly more mechanical in nature, but you also have to assume that, like, you know that, like, from your time with Kaz, you certainly know something like Alatar doesn't have a lot of hollow spaces in him. There's magic that allows parts of his body to be malleable. probably this thing. The thing about that is it removes a level of defense in a way. Because the material itself, it's still hard. It's a hard material. But it's a malleable material, then, to a degree. The magic allows Alatar to, like, walk around without having to have joints and stuff, you know? He just does it naturally. As, like, the metal bends and shapes to his magical energy. This thing probably has some kind of core similar to that at some point in time. But that might be, like, a skeletal structure in this thing. With the outside about it, you know. Certainly, it's going to have something to that degree, but it's probably not filling the entire thing from what you've seen here. But where you're going to encounter that, you don't know. You can attempt to go in there, but then you're going inside, basically.
That's what I'm debating about, is like, should I try to squeeze in and poke around real quick to have an idea if this would be even possible? I mean, this is the time to do that, technically, when we're not in battle and know if we can do it. So I'm gonna go to Goop, and I'm going to squeeze in.
Okay. Alright, you'll kind of go into your natural form and kind of start squeezing in. Give me a perception check.
Sure. Please let it be another good roll.
Okay. So I'm going to give you 2 bits of information from this. One thing is, you are going to hear something that's not here. That's a hard way of describing it. But it almost appears like there's an echoing voice calling out to you from somewhere. And you're hearing it. It seemed to start, like, hitting you as soon as you went into your natural form.
Does it sound familiar?
Yes.
Is it who I think it is?
Possibly.
Creator?
No.
Okay, not him. Trying to think. Sounds familiar. Is it one of my personalities?
No.
It's not. Is it Sliver guy?
Yes.
I'll try to concentrate on it.
All right. This is kind of what happening when you're trying to goop inside. You know, you're kind of doing it just so you're like halfway in. You're trying to like concentrate a little bit. You're not quite connecting. You feel as though he's trying to contact you about something.
I'm gonna goop back out. Maybe whatever. Maybe there's some kind of shielding from being partially in.
No, it's still there.
No?
It might just be that your natural form combines all of your forms basically, but it's not.
It's getting muddled.
It's still getting muddled because all of your other voices are there still. And the thing is, you're not, when you assume a form, you're concentrating on that form, and that form is probably not going to be as receptive because you have that sliver in you, and that's what makes you receptive.
Right.
You honestly might have to take sliver form in order to communicate with him. But you've never tried to do that?
Yeah.
You know about it, but you've never tried to do that.
I don't even know how big my sliver form is.
I will tell you, like, most slivers are basically medium-sized creatures. Some of them can get larger, but those are special cases, usually, more or less. Medium to large, depending on the type.
Well, then, I'm going to finish gooping in and see if I can find a spot that is big enough to hold me as medium.
Sure. You will actually be able to get into an area that is like almost like a corridor or some kind of vein with a walkway. You kind of like splat down into there through the hole. It's kind of dark in here, almost completely black, except it's kind of got this like red hue that kind of like fades in and out too. It's almost kind of like this blinking. It goes off in like directions either way.
now that I'm on the platform, I will try to turn into slumber form.
Okay, you can.
And then I'll try to concentrate on his voice.
You will begin to hear his voice. Hive One. Can you hear
Yes.
me?
I can now.
I sense that you are in a danger that is of my own creation.
You had something to do with this?
An accident. In a way.
Pray tell.
A year ago, I delivered a gift to a sleeping beast deep within the water. It should not have awoken it. A strange capsule that was given to me. I was to expose the creature to it, and a second capsule to keep it asleep. The idea would be, the first one would get it into a position to awaken it. The second would do it. The idea, I believe, from words were, it was an uncontrollable force of destruction, most likely. Not something that those that I know would be able to use. There was not a consensus to wake it up. It should not be awakening. That is the only reason I am contacting you. Because this was not part of the plan.
Do you have any suggestions?
I know not what I did in the first place. Only that it was supposed to prepare it for awakening. Something else has happened to cause it to wake up. That is beyond my purview. But know this. A strange black liquid was one of the materials I injected into it. I was told it would react to some components within it that were said to have been installed in it at the end of the Great War that it came from.
I think I know what that is. At least the liquid.
The secondary vial was of a strange silver liquid. I knew not of what that is.
Do you know where these things were placed?
I found a spot in its back where it had been particularly damaged. As soon as I placed the materials, though, one after the other, that area began to repair itself. Strangely. Almost organically.
That is worrisome. Is there any information that you know of this creature that might be abuse?
I'm sorry. I cannot give any more. I've given all I can. That is within my purview. Because this is not part of a plan discussed with me, and this is a mistake, is the only reason I am coming to you with this.
I appreciate it.
I assume that this was a failsafe if things had gone wrong on certain degrees, and they have not gone wrong.
Or someone on your team has decided to enact something without consulting anyone else.
They would not break the leader's orders. Know that, at least.
Old Phyrexian technology. Could be unstable. Maybe something happened that they didn't realize.
Again, I cannot help you any more than what I have said. I only know that if it is this Phyrexian technology that I was tasked with reawakening, some of it was already in there.
The black liquid you speak of, I think I know what it is. And the silver might be something similar to what I am.
I have given you my warning.
I thank you.
His voice will quiet. You hear noise coming from down this tunnel.
Do I see anything in here?
It's far enough away that, like, the light isn't enough to really give good view. Because, again, it's kind of like this red, throbbing, kind of very low light.
Right.
And your dark vision doesn't go far enough.
Well, right. I just meant, like, this is a scaffolding path.
Maybe more like a vein, almost.
Okay. It doesn't have, like, rails or anything.
It's got, like, a kind of like a flat floor, but no railing or something, too. So It's got, like... The floor does also seem to have, like, a way that it can flex and stuff. But you're assuming that this might be some kind of internal walkway to move the length of it. But you're not sure what all of it's accessing, because there does seem to be all kinds of, like, tubings of varying size. Some of them quite, like, maybe, like, a couple feet round that are traveling along the side of here, that this kind of parallels.
And the sound's coming from up ahead?
Yeah. Well, towards the back of the creature, I would say, because you were up towards the neck.
Okay. So if I could head away from it and go up towards the head.
Yes, you'd be running parallel towards the neck.
Shit, the legs. Well, I found out that I can get in here. Do I think I could bring the bag with me?
Maybe. It'd be difficult. And this, you're not even sure how to navigate this entire thing. But you might be able to get in here at least.
I don't know if it's worth staying and trying to investigate at the moment. And possibly tipping something off, or if I should just get the hell out of Dodge, knowing this much.
As you're kind of sitting there contemplating, because
the noise is getting louder.
Yeah, and you begin to see, like, out in the distance, under, like, the kind of red light, the outline, this is beyond your dark vision still, of some kind of strange humanoid shape.
How wide is this path?
It is, like, 5 feet round. It is a medium path, barely. It actually might be like 6 foot round, honestly. So, like, most people could stand up in it. Kaz would be fine. If he could get in here.
Yeah. I'm going to goop and try to go to the underneath of this.
Okay.
And actually move closer to where this thing was.
Roll me stealth then.
Sure.
Okay. Something that honestly looks a lot like you is moving down the passage. Like your natural form. seemingly like goopy humanoid creature. It looks almost like it's made of like a liquid metal. Just seems to kind of be moving along. There seems to be something wrong with it. Like a weird growth on its one shoulder. Which is odd to say on a metal thing. As it's kind of like looking around. Kind of like just dragging its like limbs along. You could roll me an Arcana check on this. Or a History. Both would be appropriate.
Try history first because I'm a little bit better at that. Ooh.
Yeah, you're not sure.
I will try Arcana then.
Okay. This thing seems to be some kind of artifice, but you've never seen or heard of anything like this. And it looks a little like you, but it doesn't act like you. You're very malleable in your natural form. This thing still seems to have like a basic shape that it doesn't really change from, but still seems almost like a liquid metal. And it has this
Like
kind
it
of
almost
like,
has like a solid skeletal.
the thing is also it has this like an indent of what looks to be like a screaming face in it. Like sunken in eyes and mouth that almost seems to be always wide in a scream.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
It does seem to be investigating around the area you are currently in. It kind of stops and is kind of like looking around a little bit.
I'm just gonna stay still right now and try to see if it eventually passes. I'll give it like a good 15 if need be.
It will eventually pass and move on.
Once it gets far enough away, I'm going to try to get back out.
You can.
Okay.
You were back on the surface, out of there.
Yeah, unfortunately this means I gotta get back off this thing, which is probably going to hurt.
Also, I think you used both of your superior forms for today.
Yes, I know.
So...
Is the mer person a superior form?
technically not.
Yeah. I guess I'm going to try to head to the water.
Okay. You take the quick way.
I don't want to... I'm trying to take the least amount of damage. So if the quick way is falling off this thing... No.
You certainly could climb down one of its limbs. It's like legs.
Yeah. I'm going to goop down.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't feel like taking fall damage, because I still might take damage trying to leave its skin. I don't know, and I don't want to risk dying trying to jump, trying to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So I will goop down into water level and then try to swim away. Try to, turn it into mer form and try to swim away.
Alright, you will at least have to give me a fortitude save for one effect at least.
You mean... Oh, damn it. You mean Constitution.
Yeah, sorry. There I go, defaulting to Pathfinder again, because I was talking about it earlier.
I'm like, I can't give you a fortitude save.
I mean, you can give
Oh,
me...
shit.
Alright!
Yeah.
Enjoy 15 more damage.
I'm glad I healed a bit.
Honestly, the good thing about the water line is it does give you some natural cover from the electrical spines. Amphibious war wasn't really something they dealt with during the Antiquities War. They dealt with air war, and so they really didn't prepare for, I gotta blast something in the water, you can get away.
That might be my best way to get back on this thing now.
I mean, yeah, you could try to sneak on through that, definitely, if you wanted to get on yourself. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna swim the shore.
Why don't we call it here? Because I want to do the Cole and scared little Thrannian girl try to rally an army scene next, and that might take a little while. So that'll be an interesting thing to do. And then we'll deal with the ramifications of what everybody found out about. So the answers you found out were yes. Mishra was installing basically Phyrexian influence technology in Traxos towards the end of the war because he was under the influence of Phyrexian. But it wasn't probably fully a Phyrexian. But someone tampered with it to make it more Phyrexian.
I'm gonna come up with some dumb, clever plan and make you mad at me.
I'm going to rest, and while I rest, I'm going to try to have a conversation with my inner asshole. And see what he might know about the creature that I saw.
I mean, honestly, Claude might be able to identify what it was. I mean, like, I will give you, if you want to find out about it, like, Claude, if you want to roll a history or arcana check, you might be able to know about it.
Roll another one?
Not Claude, Kaz. Freaking. So many
Oh,
C's!
Arcana, you said?
Or history, whichever one you want to.
Good at both of them.
Hey, so that happened to be a transmographat. It was a powerful weapon created by Ashnod during the war that took a humanoid and converted them into those things in a process that made them into an artifact creature. They're very powerful.
Gross.
But also, it's probably assumed it was a horrible, torturous existence at this point in time. And many of her volunteers might not have been.
Hence why it has a permanent screaming face.
Yeah! That was once a person turned into an artifact monster.
I was an artifact monster turned into a person.
Yeah.
That's much better.
Burn it. Burn it.
Ashnod's Strongfint. You sacrifice a Strongfint, put a +1/+1 counter on a non-artifact creature, and turn it into an artifact. Basically, it converts the things into like a liquid metal monstrosity. That use
What part was that?
Ashnod's Transmogritant. It was from Antiquities originally.
That sounds horrific.
She found few willing to trade humanity for the power she offered. Willing is the operable word there.
Yeah.
But useful.
I mean...
No, I have an artifact-based deck.
Yeah. Honestly, Mishra's side was a lot worse than Urza's side, though both were awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who this Ashnod is, but she don't sound fun.
She was Mishra's apprentice, just like Thanos was Urza's apprentice.
Right.
They actually liked each other. And Ashnod actually had a semblance of humanity because it was her who got Urza the Silex to end the war. Because Mishra wasn't going to use that. She made a conscious decision to send a weapon of mass destruction that could destroy an entire continent to the other side because she was worried things were going in a bad direction. Basically, she was awful. She wasn't Phyrexian awful. And she saw the writing on the wall. It was a little too much. Probably mostly it was prisoners she transformed in this thing, you know. takes prisoners of the enemy side and transforms them into your own soldiers. You know, that's awful, but it's not your own people.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we'll end for today, and next time we'll start with Cole's misadventures. Won't that be fun? There's going to be a dragon, a gorilla, and some druids, and it's going to go wonderful.
I'm sorry, I had to do the oh my there.
It's worthy of an oh my. I found some really nice pictures that show the size of Traxos a little bit, and I will share them. You know, the two that I found. This thing is so... It's ridiculous sized, you know. It's supposed to be. But let's give shout-outs and stuff like that, because we did a pretty good job today. It was a good session, you know. We learned some things. You're making some plans. You're gonna take down a giant metal dragon monstrosity, hopefully.
Yeah.
At least try. Mads, do you have anything to shout out?
No. I'm here. I may be a black box, but I am in fact here.
Yeah, she does exist. She's a black box, but that is technically an on-camera, so I don't have to mess around with any settings, which is very nice.
That's why I have a bat that goes around my camera, so I can just move the bat in front of the camera.
I really should put like a carry picture that I can like flip up. I should remember to do that when you're gonna have that off. Same with I should have Cole picture for Momo.
When I'm too tired to do makeup and when
you're not
you
feeling.
don't want to be on camera at all.
I don't know. I think this like really disappointed Fox is an accurate representation of Cole.
Also,
I don't see it until I get close.
Concerned and confused Fox.
there is canon art of Carrion. You got commissioned art
I did in fact get commissioned art.
Mm-hmm.
from Bubbly.
Yeah.
Bye-bye!
Fish, what do you have to shout out?
Hi everybody, I'm Fish Harlan. This week you can find me contracting vampirism the old-fashioned way.
Sexy way?
I'm gonna have a French plantation in the New Orleans area, and then an asshole named Lestat is gonna come by.
Fuck you, Lestat. God damn that
Fuck
bastard.
you, Lestat. Look, you gotta give him props for the glam rock band, though.
God, yes.
He did make a glam rock band in the 80s.
Look, you know, it's what you
Okay.
do. Yeah.
I mean, who didn't make a glam rock band in the 80s?
Me.
Momo.
You weren't alive.
Momo, what do you have to shout out? Anything?
The Skulls and Shackles game, and then discussing tabletop. That's it.
Cool. And a disappointed fox. We're
Yeah.
confused. It's hard to tell. Joe.
It's a lot of things.
It's a
How I
lot.
feel
Alarmed.
constantly.
I'm getting alarmed vibes from that.
Yeah. Sad, crying. I will say, early Happy New Year to everyone.
Yeah.
That's
That's
gross.
Everyone next year.
Gross.
Uh-huh.
Why is that gross?
Because I don't want time to be real.
But
Passage of time.
time is on my side.
Time's not on my side, that's the point.
Myself, Dracovin, current schedule. Discussing tabletop Saturday. I should be getting into stuff for Sundays, getting back to that. Just been busy holiday season with a lot. Honestly, I've been, Niece has been home, and I've been helping to make sure she doesn't drive my mother insane, honestly. So it's been distracting me for good chunks of the days. So I haven't been doing as much work on stuff. But she'll be back at school next week, and I'll have time again. Won't that be wonderful? Time again.
Oh god.
Ah, a child who constantly wants entertainment and torments you for it. Anyway, yes. Buccaneers of Shackled Sea every Wednesday at 8 p.m. EST. This game every Thursday, 9 p.m. Both of them should be back. Oh, actually, Buccaneers is not back next week. We're off on Buccaneers. Should be back for Children of Wrath because we were taking next week off on Buccaneers. I have to remember that. We're taking a week off. Discussing tabletop hopefully this Saturday on the New Year. And I'll probably get some other streams in. Tabletop Drive-In will be maybe this week if I can organize stuff tomorrow. I'll try to do that. But I'm going to be partially busy tomorrow, so we'll see, because it's like a day that the entire family is free, and we were talking about doing something nice for the New Year's all together, you know, like maybe going out somewhere, not on New Year's night, but like during the middle afternoon. I don't know, maybe. So I'll see what I do.
Well, tomorrow's only a day away.
I know. Technically, it's almost today, in 5 minutes.
True.
But, and I probably will get some gaming streams in at some point in time. So, hey everybody, I hope you had a great time, enjoyed the show. There was some, like, some interesting lore dump and some adventures, and they're coming up with a probably helpful plan for destroying a horrible...
It's not gonna be helpful. You know us at this point.
I mean,
we don't do helpful, we do unnecessarily destructive.
I mean, you are just attempting to fight Mechagodzilla, so I mean, like, we'll see how that goes.
What? Hey, what? Why don't we just get Godzilla?
Good point. Why don't you just get Godzilla?
There's a
I know
rule
a Kraken.
We do in fact know a Kraken. I take that back.
You also have met a Leviathan that's basically a similar size to this thing.
I don't think Slinvoda is gonna help us.
Probably not, honestly. It's too busy carrying around a lot of merfolk. But anyway, hope you have a great rest of your day, evening, etc., week, and hopefully we can join us for very least this game next week, if not for anything else. And until then, farewell, everybody. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.